everyone, my name is Abby Andrew and welcome back to the René of Paris channel. Today's video is going to be about the topic wigs that make me feel beautiful. Now I emphasize the me in that sentence because this is going to be different for everybody. There are so many different reasons that someone might choose to wear a wig, and of course the definition of beautiful is very subjective, so it's really up to your own personal definition of wigs that make you feel beautiful as well. As someone who has had alopecia since the age of 2, I've been bald since pretty much my entire life, so the biggest thing I want to emphasize right off the bat is that bald is beautiful and you don't need wigs to feel beautiful. If you're experiencing hair loss for the first time, you are still beautiful exactly as you are, and you don't need wigs to make up for anything. The beauty about wigs is that you can have fun with wigs. You can try all sorts of different styles. You can choose to find a wig that looks just like your hair before it fell out, or you can choose to go with a completely drastically different style that you never might have gotten to try if you didn't start to lose your hair. And either of these are completely valid, and wigs can make you feel great regardless of how you choose to wear them. For a lot of my life after losing my hair, I was really self-conscious about wearing wigs. So for a long time, the wigs that made me feel beautiful were the ones that I thought looked the most realistic, ones that looked like what I thought my hair would have looked like if I had my hair, and just wigs that I knew nobody would ever question if they looked at them, so that nobody ever had to know I was wearing a wig unless I wanted them to. And this wig that I'm wearing right now kind of falls into that category. This is probably the first nice quality long wig that I ever had in my collection. This is Stevie from Amore, so it still has a very special place in my heart as one of my favorite go-to wigs of all time. I started wearing this Stevie wig before I was really comfortable talking to people about my alopecia and didn't necessarily want to be so open about it as I am now. It took me a long time to become as open with my alopecia as I am today. It took a really long time to get myself used to that. So the fact that this wig is just very realistic, nobody was ever asking me questions about it unless I wanted to bring the topic up when I felt comfortable with it. Now, a few features about this wig that make it look so realistic are things like the monofilament wig cap, which just gives you that really realistic looking scalp on top if you change the part of the hair. And it also allows you to part the hair however you want to part it, if you want to change the side that it's parted on. Now, if this is a feature you think that you would want with your own wigs, most of the wigs that are part of the Amore line from René of Paris have this feature. It's just called double monofilament, and it has the really great combination of the really realistic looking scalp in addition to added comfort if you are wearing it on your own bald head. This next wig that I want to talk about is a wig that was my go-to wig for a really long time, and again, this is a wig style that I wore before I was open about having alopecia. This wig here is Cody from the Amore Collection in the color Creamy Blonde. Before I put it on, I just wanted to show you what the inside of that double monofilament wig cap looked like. It's very smooth on the inside as well, so if you are wearing it on your bald head, it's very comfortable. And it also has the adjustable straps at the nape of the neck. When I was about 13 years old, I went to a wig store, and I didn't really know too much about wig cap constructions and wig styles and good quality wigs before this, but when I went to this wig shop, the woman who worked there introduced me to this wig, which is Cody from Amore. And that was, of course, before I was very comfortable talking about alopecia. I was very insecure about it. So the wig that I wanted to get from the wig store that day, I wanted it to be a wig that looked very realistic, that would look like my own hair, and that nobody would ask me questions about. And that's what Cody was for me for many years after that. Now, synthetic wigs do have a lifespan, so I just wanted to clarify that. I did wear Cody for about 6 years of my life consistently, but I did have to replace it with a new Cody just about every 4 to 6 months or so, depending on how often you wear the wig. But the reason that Cody worked so perfectly for this time of my life between when I was in middle school and high school is because it's just such an effortless style. No matter what, if I just put this wig on and don't even look in the mirror, I know it's gonna look good. It's very effortless. Wigs that are short lengths like this, they don't even need to be brushed out as often because they just never really get that tangly just because they're so short. So the reason this wig style made me feel beautiful is because when I was really insecure about my alopecia, I knew nobody would ask me questions if I was wearing this wig, because it does have those really realistic looking features like the monofilament wig cap, and because it's so short and comfortable and I never have to worry about it falling off. It feels like I can just run around, be myself, shake my head, dance at a concert, and never have to worry about the wig. It's just going to function as my hair, and I never really have to think twice about it, and that's why this wig makes me feel beautiful. This next wig that I want to talk about is a wig that I started wearing around the same time that when I wore Cody very often, and that is Shiloh from Noriko in the same color, Creamy Blonde. Now, the reason this wig holds a very special place in my heart is because when I was in high school and I was still very insecure about changing up my wig styles, A way that I started to get myself comfortable trying out new styles was by wearing a longer wig in the same color, and if anyone asked me questions about my wigs and I was uncomfortable answering them, I would just try to pass it off as extensions or something like that, because it was just easier for me to say that when I was really insecure about talking about alopecia and wigs. This wig is part of the Noriko Collection, and it also has a monofilament wig cap, but this one has a single monofilament wig cap. And the only difference between the double monofilament and the single monofilament is that the double monofilament just has that extra layer of monofilament for that extra layer of added comfort, but both caps are equally comfortable to me. But if you do have a particularly sensitive scalp, I think that double monofilament is a really great option for you. But in terms of the very realistic looking hairline, both will have that same effect, whether it's double monofilament or single monofilament. So when I first started to venture out and try out wearing different wig styles, I would switch from this style to this style. So the change wasn't so drastic because the color was the same, and I got to have fun getting used to wearing a longer wig like this one without having to be so intimidated about switching wig styles. Now I do want to add something that the reason it was intimidating for me is because I was very in my head about it. In reality, it does not have to be a scary thing to change up wig styles, and a lot of times when you build it up in your head and think that everyone's going to judge you or say something about it, a lot of times people don't even notice the difference. So the big thing for me was just getting out of my head about it, because in my mind I thought it would be such a scary transition to go from one wig to another, but in reality it really was not as big of a deal as I was imagining it to be. However, feeling that way is completely valid, so this was just a way for me to try to get myself used to changing up wigs without having too much of a drastic changeover. And now I want to get into why wigs make me feel beautiful as a whole, and that's because I love changing up my style so often on a regular basis, and now changing up my wigs to all sorts of wigs from any color to any style is such a big part of who I am. I couldn't imagine not doing that. If my hair ever grew back one day, I'd probably still mix up wig styles at the time, because I just love how much it allows me to express my sense of fashion and my individuality with just all sorts of different colors and lengths and hair textures. So while a wig like Cody and Creamy Blonde makes me feel beautiful because it looks like what I think my own natural hair would have looked like, a wig like this one, which is Envious in Royal Emerald from the Orchid Collection, this one makes me feel beautiful because it helps me feel like I'm expressing my individuality. And this wig style is just one of my favorites of all time, both because of the really cute short waves and because of this color, which is absolutely fabulous. I get really excited about colorful wigs like this one because when I was growing up, I definitely would have wanted to dye my hair all the time and didn't really have that option because I have alopecia. And so now that I'm older and have access to beautiful wigs like this, I have so much fun changing up my style on almost a daily basis. So like I was saying at the beginning of this video, these are all the wigs that make me feel beautiful, and it's not just about following conventional beauty standards, it's about what makes you feel beautiful, makes you feel like you're expressing your sense of fashion and your individuality. Comment below what it is about wigs that makes you feel beautiful. Do you like to find wigs that look like what your hair would have looked like if you're experiencing hair loss? Or do you like wigs that make you feel like you're able to express your individuality and creativity? Definitely want to hear all of your comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more wig tips and tutorials. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.